Ambassador Do Hyun, Earth's first diplomatic envoy to the Galactic Council, arrives at the massive orbital station known as the Nexus with a small team of diplomatic advisors. Despite humanity being relatively new to interstellar travel, they've been invited to present their case for membership in the Galactic Council, a collective of over 300 advanced species that govern most of the known galaxy. Do Hyun is accompanied by his chief security officer, Captain Ji Yoon, a decorated veteran of Earth's Unified Defense Force. Their scientific advisor, Dr. Ha Jun, is fascinated by the incredible technology and diverse alien species they encounter. The team's cultural specialist, Ms. Sun Mi, attempts to navigate the complex social protocols of the Council. During the formal presentation, Do Hyun proudly shares humanity's rapid technological advancement, their cultural diversity, and their eagerness to contribute to galactic society. However, the Council's High Arbiter, Supreme Counselor Vextara, seems unimpressed and openly hostile. When Do Hyun presents evidence of humanitarian efforts and peaceful intentions, Vextara interrupts with accusations of humanity's violent history and genetic instability. The council chamber erupts in murmurs as Vextara calls for an immediate vote on the human question. Before Do Hyun can properly defend Earth, armed guards surround the human delegation. Captain Ji-eun tries to protect the ambassador but is quickly subdued. The council votes overwhelmingly to reject Earth's membership and declares humans too dangerous for galactic integration. In a shocking twist, Vextara announces that the human delegation will not be permitted to return to Earth with knowledge of advanced council technology. In full view of the galactic media feeds, Ambassador Do Hyun is publicly executed as a necessary precaution, while the rest of the delegation is imprisoned. One technician, Kyung Ho, manages to escape during the chaos and activates an emergency quantum communicator to send the devastating news back to Earth. Part 2. Earth's response. Back on Earth, the United Planetary Government convenes an emergency session as news of Do Hyun's execution spreads globally. Riots erupt in major cities as humanity comes to terms with their rejection by the galactic community and the brutal murder of their ambassador. Admiral Tae-won, commander of Earth's modest defense fleet, immediately orders all ships to battle stations. Meanwhile, President Yoon addresses the planet with a message of defiance. They have misjudged us, they have underestimated us, and they will regret it. Dr. Minji, Earth's leading xenotechnologist, reveals that she has been secretly reverse engineering alien technology recovered from previous encounters. She unveils Project Vengeance, a series of military innovations that have been developed but never deployed due to ethical concerns. In orbit, Earth's fleet begins rapid modifications under Dr. Minji's guidance. What the Galactic Council doesn't know is that humans have been preparing for hostile first contact scenarios for centuries. Meanwhile, Intelligence Director Jae-sung activates a network of undercover human agents who had been quietly placed throughout the galaxy during previous trade missions. These agents begin gathering critical intelligence on Council weaknesses and defense systems. As Earth prepares for war, they receive an unexpected communication from a small faction of Council species led by the Araxians. Their representative, Commander Zell, reveals that several minority species opposed the execution but were overruled. They offer to help Earth in secret, providing crucial intelligence about the Nexus Station's defenses. Part 3. The Rescue Mission, a stealth team led by Special Forces Commander Yoon Seo launches a daring mission to rescue the imprisoned diplomatic team from the Nexus. Using advanced cloaking technology developed by Dr. Minji, they infiltrate the massive space station. The rescue team discovers that the remaining diplomats are being subjected to painful experiments to study human physiology and psychology. They find Captain Ji-eun barely alive but still defiant, having resisted interrogation techniques that would have broken most other species. As they extract the prisoners, Commander Yoon Seo discovers classified council documents revealing the true reason behind the hostile reception. Several powerful council species fear human adaptability and resilience. Reports show that human test subjects recovered from earlier crashed ships survived conditions that would kill most other species. The Council's leading scientists predicted that within a few generations, humans would outpace most member species in technological advancement. The team also learns that Vex Tara belongs to the Dravkar Dominion, a species that has secretly manipulated council policy for centuries, eliminating potential rivals before they can become threats. During their escape, the team is cornered by Nexus security forces. In a display of human combat prowess that shocks the alien forces, Commander Yoon Seo's team fights their way out, using tactics and displaying physical endurance that confirms the Council's fears about human capabilities. The rescued diplomats are brought back to Earth, where Captain Ji-eun's testimony and the recovered documents galvanize global resolve for retaliation. Part 4. The Counter-Strike Earth launches Operation Thunderbolt, a multi-pronged attack on key Council facilities. Admiral Taewon's fleet, now enhanced with Dr. Minji's innovations, demonstrates capabilities far beyond what the Council believed humans possessed. The Earth fleet employs unconventional tactics that confuse the Council's strategists, who rely heavily on predictive algorithms. Human unpredictability proves to be a devastating advantage as they target key supply routes and communication hubs. President Yoon broadcasts a message across all galactic frequencies. You thought us weak because we sought peace. You mistook our diplomacy for submission. Now witness humanity's true nature when provoked. On Earth, Dr. Hajun, rescued from the Nexus, works with Dr. Minji to develop a virus that temporarily disables the Council's integrated computer networks. When deployed, it causes chaos throughout Council space, displaying Ambassador Do-hyun's execution on every communication device with a simple message. Remember what you did? As Earth forces penetrate deeper into Council space, they discover and free several other dangerous species that had been subjugated or contained by the Council. These allies join the human cause, creating a formidable coalition of the formerly oppressed. The Council, never having faced a serious military threat, in millennia falls into disarray. Several member species begin questioning the leadership of the Dravkar Dominion for the first time. Part 5. The New Order Earth forces, now leading a coalition of liberated species, surround the Nexus. Instead of destroying it as expected, Admiral Taewon offers the Council terms for surrender and reorganization. In a dramatic confrontation, Captain Ji-eun, now promoted to commander, personally arrests Supreme Counselor Vex Tara for crimes against sentient beings. The Galactic Council is restructured with a new constitution based partly on Earth's united government model, ensuring representation for all species, regardless of technological development. The truth about the Dravkar Dominion's centuries of manipulation is exposed, leading to their reduced influence. Many Council species express remorse for their complicity in the system and for the execution of Ambassador Do-hyun. 1 year later, a memorial ceremony is held at the renovated Nexus. A statue of Ambassador Do-hyun is unveiled with an inscription reading, "He came in peace. We return in justice." President Yoon, speaking at the ceremony, emphasizes that humanity's vengeance was not about destruction, but about correction and creating a more equitable galaxy. Earth is granted full membership in the new Galactic Alliance, with Captain Ji-eun appointed as the new ambassador. Dr. Minji leads a new initiative for open technology sharing between all member species, breaking down the hierarchical system that had previously existed. The story ends with a private conversation between Ambassador Ji-eun and an elder representative of the Araxians, who admits, "The old council feared humans because they misunderstood your nature. They saw your adaptability as a threat rather than as your greatest gift to the galaxy. In crisis, you became not conquerors, but reformers. Perhaps that is what truly makes humans unique." Ji-eun looks out at the stars visible through the Nexus viewport and replies, "We came to the stars seeking friends, found enemies instead, and ended up creating a family. That's just what humans do." The emergency message from Kyung-ho reached Earth at 3:47 a.m. Global Standard Time. Within minutes, the United Planetary Government's alert system activated, waking leaders across all continents. President Yoon was in the middle of a deep sleep when her bedroom lights flashed red. She sat up, instantly alert. "Madam President," her AI assistant spoke, Emergency transmission from the Galactic Council delegation. The holographic display showed only static at first. Then Kyung-ho's terrified face appeared. His voice shook as he spoke. They killed him. They killed Ambassador Do-hyun, right in front of everyone, the council. They called us dangerous, too unpredictable. They're holding the others. I barely escaped. Help us. Please help us. The message cut off. President Yuna sat in silence for 10 seconds. When she spoke, her voice was cold and steady. Wake everyone. Now. 6 hours later, the emergency council chamber was filled with Earth's top leaders. The room was designed to be calming, with soft blue lighting and comfortable chairs. But today, nobody felt calm. Admiral Tae-won stood before a large display showing Earth's defense fleet, 24 warships, 107 fighters, and 5 carrier vessels. It's not much against the Council's forces, he said, but our ships have advantages they don't know about. Defense Minister Jun-ho shook his head. We're talking about fighting the combined forces of 300 alien species. Species that have been in space thousands of years longer than us. They think we're weak, said Admiral Tae-won. That will be their first mistake. President Yuna entered the room. Everyone stood. Sit down, she said. We have work to do. The large screen changed to show Ambassador Do-hyun's face, his kind eyes and gentle smile, the reason he was chosen to represent humanity. Next to it, security footage from the council chamber showing his execution. The video had no sound, but everyone could see Do-hyun's final words. Earth will not forget this. President Yuna looked at each person in the room. They have killed our ambassador. They are holding our people. They have judged our entire species as unworthy of joining their community. She paused. And they believe we will do nothing about it. She pressed a button, and the screen changed to show a new face. Dr. Minji, please tell them what you've been working on. A woman with short black hair and tired eyes appeared on the screen. Behind her was a massive laboratory filled with strange equipment. Project Vengeance was never supposed to be used, Dr. Minji said. It was just insurance. She touched something off-screen, and the wall behind her opened. Inside were weapons, unlike anything most people in the room had seen before. For the past 8 years, I've been reverse engineering technology from every alien craft we've recovered. Technology the Council doesn't know we have. The screen showed diagrams of weapons, systems, shield generators, and engine modifications. With these upgrades, our ships will be faster, stronger, and completely unexpected. The Council races think in predictable patterns. They've never faced humans in battle. Admiral Tae-won smiled for the first time that day. How soon can we deploy these modifications? My teams are already at the shipyards, Dr. Minji replied. 72 hours for basic upgrades, 5 days for the full package. President Yuna nodded. You have 4 days. On the other side of the planet, intelligence. Director Jae-sung sat in a dark room surrounded by screens. Each screen showed a different alien face. Humans who had undergone subtle surgical changes to pass as members of various council races. Your cover identities are now compromised, Jae-sung told them. But that no longer matters. Your new mission is to gather all possible intelligence about council defenses, especially around the Nexus station. A woman with bluish skin and enlarged eyes spoke first. Director, I'm stationed on a Mavari trading vessel. We're scheduled to dock at the Nexus in 2 days. Good, said Jae-sung. Priority 1 is locating our captured people. Priority 2 is mapping all security systems. An agent with extended fingers and elongated features spoke next. Sir, there are rumors here that not all council races agreed with the execution. The Araxians in particular were opposed. Find them, Jae-sung ordered. We need allies. Across Earth's major cities, the news of Ambassador Do-hyun's execution spread like wildfire. People gathered in streets and squares, first in shock, then in anger. In Seoul, a crowd of thousands stood in silence before a giant screen showing Do-hyun's face. In New York, people left flowers at the United Nations building. In Lagos, crowds chanted, "Remember Do Hyun" as they marched. President Yoon's address was broadcast globally. "Citizens of Earth," she began, "today we face the greatest challenge in human history." The camera zoomed in on her face. Her eyes were hard but clear. "The Galactic Council has rejected our peaceful hand of friendship. They have executed our ambassador without trial or mercy. They believe we are violent, unpredictable, and dangerous." She paused. "They have only seen our desire for peace. Now they will see what happens when humans are threatened." The speech continued for 7 minutes. When she finished, recruitment centers across the planet were flooded with volunteers. 3 days later, Admiral Taewon stood on the bridge of the EDS Vengeance, formerly known as the EDS Harmony. The ship had been completely transformed. Its hull now contained alien alloys that shifted color like oil on water. Its weapon systems had been enhanced with technology centuries beyond what humans had developed on their own. "Fleet status?" he asked. His second-in-command, Commander Hyun-woo, checked the displays. "All ships report ready, Admiral. Dr. Minji's teams worked miracles." "Not miracles," the Admiral said. "Just human determination." The fleet hung in Earth orbit, 24 warships with their new modifications giving them a strange, predatory appearance. Admiral Taewon opened a channel to all ships. "This is not the mission we trained for. We expected to explore, to learn, to make friends among the stars. Instead, we go to war." He looked out at the stars, somewhere among them, the Nexus station where Do-hyun had died. "But remember this, we do not fight because we love violence. We fight because they left us no choice. We fight to rescue our people. We fight to earn respect. And we fight to show the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated." As he finished speaking, a communication came through on a secure channel. It was from one of Jae-sung's undercover agents. "Admiral, this is Agent Sun-hee. I've made contact with Commander Zell of the Araxians. They want to help us. They say several council races objected to what happened but were outvoted." Admiral Taewon shared a look with Commander Hyun-woo. "We have allies?" "Not openly," replied the agent. "But the Araxians can provide us with access codes to the Nexus and information about the station's defenses." For the first time since the crisis began, Admiral Taewon felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity wasn't facing the entire galaxy alone. "Tell Commander Zell we accept their help," he said. "And tell them this. When this is over, we'll remember who stood with us." As the message was sent, Earth's fleet began to move. Operation Thunderstrike had begun. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans entered vengeance mode. The Nexus station hung in space like a massive metal spider. Its central hub connected to 8 enormous arms, each housing different sections of the Galactic Council's operations. Thousands of ships, from hundreds of worlds, moved around it in carefully organized patterns. None of them noticed the small human vessel approaching from the dark side. Commander Yoon Seo stood in the cramped control room of the stealth ship Shadow. 6 elite soldiers checked their gear around her. Each wore a new type of combat suit developed by Dr. Minji, black material that bent light around it and adapted to different environments. "Final briefing," Yoon Seo said, her voice calm despite the danger ahead. "Our mission has 3 parts. First, find and rescue our people. Second, gather intelligence. Third, get out alive." She touched a control panel, displaying a holographic map of the Nexus. "Thanks to our Araxian friends, we know our people are being held here, in Research Arm 3. Captain Ji-yoon and the others have been there for 7 days now." One of the soldiers, Sergeant Dae-ho, asked the question they were all thinking. "Are we sure they're still alive?" Yoon Seo's face hardened. "The Araxians confirmed Captain Ji-yoon was alive 20 hours ago. The others, we'll find out." The ship's pilot, Lieutenant Soo-jin, called from the cockpit. "Commander, we're approaching entry point. Stealth systems at maximum." Yoon Seo nodded. "Everyone ready? Remember, we're not here for revenge. Not yet. Get in, get our people, get out." The 7 soldiers checked their weapons one last time. These weren't standard Earth guns. They were silent energy weapons designed to look like Council technology. "If we're discovered," Yoon Seo continued, We become ghosts. Split up, continue the mission, meet at Extraction Point Delta. The shadow glided silently toward a maintenance airlock on the underside of Research Arm 3. The access codes provided by the Araxians worked perfectly. No alarms sounded. Good hunting, Yunseo said as the airlock opened. For Earth. The corridors of the Nexus were wide and brightly lit, designed for many different species to use. The human team moved carefully, using service tunnels and maintenance shafts whenever possible. Their suits' active camouflage worked better than expected, bending light around them so effectively that they appeared as little more than heat ripples in the air when they moved slowly. They encountered few guards. The Council, it seemed, felt completely safe in their massive station. Another sign of their arrogance, whispered Sergeant Deho as they passed a pair of bored-looking security drones. According to the Araxian intelligence, the human prisoners were being held in a high-security research section. As they got closer, they began to see more guards, tall, four-armed beings with metallic skin that Yunseo recognized as Zentari, one of the Council's warrior races. Change of plan, she whispered into her team comm. Too many guards at the main entrance. We'll split into 2 teams. Team 1 with me through the ventilation system. Team 2 with Sergeant Deho. Create a distraction in Section 44B. The team separated smoothly, professionals doing what they'd trained for. 3 minutes later, alarms blared in a distant part of the research arm. Most of the guards rushed toward the distraction. Yunseo's team slipped through the now lightly guarded entrance to the research zone. What they found inside made them stop in shock. The room was a laboratory, filled with advanced equipment, and strapped to examination tables were the missing members of Earth's diplomatic team. They were connected to machines by tubes and wires. Data displays showed their vital signs. Check if they're alive, Yunseo ordered, moving to the nearest table where she recognized Dr. Hajun, the scientific advisor. His eyes fluttered open as she removed the breathing mask from his face. Commander? He whispered, voice cracked and dry. Real or hallucination? Real, she said, cutting the restraints. We're taking you home. Around the room, the team worked quickly to free the other diplomats. Most were alive but weak. 2 had died during the experiments. In the far corner of the lab, behind a special force field, they found Captain Jiun. She was in the worst condition of all the survivors. Her body showed signs of extensive testing, surgical scars, burn marks, injection sites, but her eyes, when they opened, still burned with defiance. Took you long enough, she managed to say as Yunseo cut her free. Traffic was bad, Yunseo replied with a small smile. Can you walk? Jiun tried to stand but collapsed. Give me a minute. We don't have a minute. Yunseo lifted the captain in a fireman's carry. Team 2, what's your status? Sergeant Deho's voice came through with sounds of energy weapons firing in the background. Distraction worked too well, Commander. Half the station knows we're here now. Head to Extraction Point Delta. We're on our way with the packages. As Yunseo's team prepared to move out with the rescued diplomats, Lieutenant Yunji held up a hand. Commander, you need to see this. She had accessed one of the lab computers and was downloading files. What am I looking at? Yunseo asked, shifting Ji-eun's weight on her shoulder. The real reason they executed Ambassador Do-hyun. Eunji's face was pale. They're terrified of us. The screen showed test results from human samples, comparisons to other species, predictions of human development over the next century. They think we'll surpass them, Yunji explained. These tests show humans can adapt to conditions that would kill most council species. And look at this. She pointed to a document bearing the seal of the High Council. It detailed a long-term plan to contain the human threat before Earth could develop further. Download everything, ordered Yunseo, and grab that. She pointed to a strange device on a nearby table. It looked like a silver pyramid covered in alien symbols. What is it? Asked Yunji. No idea, but they were using it on Captain Ji-eun, so it must be important. Alarms began to sound in their section. The team moved quickly through the corridors, carrying the weakened diplomats. Two team members had to support cultural specialist Sunmi, who couldn't walk on her own. They encountered resistance twice. The first time, they managed to slip past unnoticed. The second time, they had to fight. The council guards were unprepared for the speed and efficiency of the human soldiers. In 20 seconds, the fight was over, with no human casualties. "They really don't know how we fight," said Lieutenant Yoonji, looking at the fallen guards. "Let's keep it that way as long as possible," replied Yoon Seo. They reached extraction, Point Delta, a small maintenance airlock, just as Sergeant Daeho's team arrived from the other direction. "Station's on full alert," reported Daeho. "We've got maybe 2 minutes before they lock down this entire section." As if to confirm his words, heavy security doors began closing throughout the corridor. "Move!" shouted Yoon Seo. They rushed through the airlock just as the final door was closing. The Shadow was waiting outside, its stealth systems working overtime to avoid detection. As the rescue team secured the diplomats, Yoon Seo looked back at the massive station. "We made it," she said, quietly. Captain Ji-eun, now conscious and sitting up with help, shook her head. "This is just the beginning." The Shadow turned and accelerated away from the Nexus, disappearing into the darkness of space before the Council ships could organize a proper search. Aboard the small vessel, Yoon Seo sent a simple message back to Earth: "Packages secured, coming home, and we've got something better than revenge, we've got the truth." Admiral Tae-wan stood before the largest military fleet Earth had ever assembled. 24 warships had become 36 in the 2 weeks since the rescue mission. Every ship had been upgraded with Dr. Minji's reverse-engineered alien technology, the Ko. Fleet gathered at the edge of the Sol system, hidden behind Jupiter's massive bulk. On the main screen of the flagship Vengeance, the rescued Captain Ji-eun spoke to the assembled commanders. Her body was still recovering, but her mind was sharp. "The Council fears us for one simple reason," she said. "We adapt faster than they do." Behind her, Dr. Ha-jun displayed the files stolen from the Nexus laboratory. "Look at these test results. The Council species evolve and develop over thousands of years. We do it in decades. What took them centuries, we accomplish in years." Admiral Tae-wan nodded. "And that's why they wanted to stop us now before we could become too powerful." "Exactly," said Dr. Ha-jun. "But there's more. The Council isn't as united as they want us to believe. The main power is held by the Dravkar Dominion, the species that Supreme Counselor Vexitara belongs to. They've been secretly controlling Council policy for centuries." The intelligence chief, Jae-sung, stepped forward. "Our Araxian allies confirm this. Many smaller Council species are effectively second-class citizens. The Dravkar eliminate any potential rivals before they can grow too strong." Admiral Tae-wan turned to the assembled fleet commanders. "This changes our mission. We're not just fighting for revenge anymore. We're fighting to expose the truth." On the main view screen, President Yuna joined the call from Earth. "Operation Thunderbolt is authorized. Admiral, you have full tactical command." Tae-wan bowed slightly. "We won't fail, Madam President." As the call ended, he addressed his fleet. "Today we show the galaxy what humans can do when provoked. Launch in 5 minutes." The human fleet moved faster than any Council sensors expected. Using jump technology reversed engineered by Dr. Minji's team, they bypassed the Council's outer defense network entirely. Their first target was the Centauri Relay Station, a massive communications hub that connected hundreds of Council worlds. Instead of destroying it, the human forces captured it intact. Commander Hyunwoo led the boarding team. They met resistance from the station's security forces, but the Council guards were unprepared for human combat tactics. The station was secured in just 47 minutes with minimal casualties on both sides. "Phase 1 complete," reported Hyunwoo to Admiral Tae-wan. "The station is ours." Back on Earth, Dr. Ha-jun and Dr. Minji worked with a team of programmers on a special computer virus. When the Centauri relay was captured, they uploaded their creation into its systems. The virus spread through the Council's communication network at light speed. On every planet, moon, and station in Council space, all screens suddenly showed the same image: Ambassador Do-hyun's execution. Below the image were the words, "Remember what you did." But the virus did more than just display a message. It dug deep into Council archives, finding and releasing thousands of classified documents. The truth about the Dravkar Dominion's manipulation of Council policy for centuries was suddenly available for all species to see. On the Nexus, Supreme Counselor Vexitara received reports of human attacks on 15 different targets simultaneously. His normally pale skin had turned almost white with rage. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his military advisors. "They're primitives. They shouldn't even be able to reach these systems." One of his advisors, General Mock, looked uncomfortable. "The humans appear to have technology that matches or exceeds our own in some areas, and their tactics are unpredictable." Unpredictable? They're attacking our supply lines and communication hubs instead of military targets. It makes no sense. General Mock hesitated. "Actually, it makes perfect strategic sense. They're isolating our forces from each other. And there's more bad news, Supreme Counselor. The humans are broadcasting messages to all Council worlds. They're revealing our control of Council policy." Vextara's eyes narrowed. "Shut down the communication network." "We've tried. Their virus has locked us out of our own systems." Before Vextara could respond, alarms sounded throughout the Nexus. The station's sensors had detected incoming ships. "The human fleet?" asked Vextara. "No," replied General Mock, checking the display. "It's the Araxian Defense Force, and ships from the Tellurian Alliance and the Mavari Collective." "What are they doing here?" "They're Council members." The communication screen activated without command. The face of Commander Zell of the Araxians appeared. "Supreme Counselor Vextara," said Zell formally, "in light of the evidence revealed by the humans, the Free Council Alliance demands your immediate surrender and submission to trial for crimes against sentient beings." Vextara stared in shock. "Free Council Alliance? What nonsense is this?" "The truth has been revealed," replied Zell. "The humans have shown us what you have hidden for centuries. Half the Council species have already declared independence from Dravkar control." The screen split to show Admiral Taiwan of the human fleet. "The choice is yours, Supreme Counselor," said Taiwan. "Surrender or face the combined forces of humanity and the Free Council Alliance." Back on the Vengeance, Admiral Taiwan waited for Vextara's response. Beside him, President Yuna watched through a secure channel from Earth. "Will he surrender?" asked Yuna. "The Dravkar never surrender," replied Taiwan. "It's not in their nature." As if proving his point, Vextara's face reappeared on the screen. "Humans," he spat, "you've corrupted the Council with your lies. The Dravkar Dominion will crush your pathetic species." The screen went dark. Moments later, the Nexus's defense systems activated. Weapons platforms emerged from hidden compartments all around the station. "All ships, battle formation beta," ordered Admiral Taiwan calmly. "Target weapon systems only, minimize casualties." The human fleet moved with precision that shocked the Council forces. Their ships were faster and more maneuverable than anything the Council had seen before. Their weapons were devastatingly effective against the Nexus's defenses. Alongside them, the ships of the Free Council Alliance engaged the loyal Council forces. The battle was chaotic but short-lived. The Council military, used to overwhelming superiority and predictable enemies, struggled to adapt to human tactics. "Admiral," called out a sensor officer, "we're detecting escape pods launching from the Nexus. One of them has Dravkar life signs." "Vextara is running," noted Taiwan. "Typical. Captain Seojun, intercept that pod." The human ship Swift Justice moved to capture the Supreme Counselor's escape pod. As they secured it, Captain Seojun's voice came through the comm. "We have him, Admiral. Supreme Counselor Vextara is in custody." A cheer went up across the human fleet. On the Nexus, the remaining Council forces began to surrender. Admiral Taiwan opened a channel to all ships, Council and human alike. "This is Admiral Taiwan of Earth. The battle is over. To all Council forces, power down your weapons. No further harm will come to those who surrender." He looked out at the stars, thinking of Ambassador Do Hyun and what he had died for. Today marks the beginning of a new era for all our species. Not one based on fear and control, but on true cooperation and respect. As the human fleet secured the Nexus, President Yuna prepared to address the galaxy. Earth had come seeking friends, found enemies instead, and ended up creating allies. The galaxy would never be the same again. 1 year after the Battle of the Nexus, the massive space station looked very different. The old Council symbols had been removed. New areas had been built. Ships from dozens of species moved freely around it. Inside the great central chamber, thousands of representatives gathered for a historic ceremony. The chamber had been redesigned. Instead of the hierarchical tiers that once placed the Dravkar Dominion above all others, now all seats were arranged in a perfect circle. Captain Ji-un, now fully recovered from her ordeal, adjusted her formal uniform as she prepared to enter the chamber. The past year had been the busiest of her life. After the battle, she had been appointed as Earth's new ambassador to what was now called the Galactic Alliance. "Nervous?" asked Admiral Taewon, standing beside her in his dress uniform. Ji-un smiled. "A little. I'm a soldier, not a diplomat." "That's exactly why President Yuna chose you. The galaxy needs honesty now, not just smooth words." They entered the chamber together. Representatives from over 300 species rose to their feet in respect. At the center of the chamber stood a covered object. President Yuna was already there, speaking with Commander Zell of the Araxians. She motioned for Ji-un and Taiwan to join them. "Today we make it official," said Yuna. "Earth joins the Galactic Alliance as a full member, with all rights and responsibilities." Commander Zell nodded. "And we remember what brought us to this moment." The room quieted as President Yuna stepped to the central platform. Her voice carried throughout the chamber without needing amplification, one of many small technological improvements humans had suggested over the past year. "1 year ago, a terrible injustice was committed in this very chamber," she began. Ambassador Do-hyun came offering friendship. He was met with fear, prejudice, and violence. She looked around the room slowly. What the old council didn't understand was that humans don't seek revenge. We seek justice. We don't want to conquer. We want to build. Yuna gestured to the covered object. "Today we remember not just our loss but what we have gained. Not just what was destroyed but what has been created." She nodded to Ji-un and Taiwan, who stepped forward and removed the covering. Beneath it stood a statue of Ambassador Do-hyun. The statue showed him with his hand extended in greeting, just as he had done when he first addressed the old council. At the base were words in multiple languages. "He came in peace. We return in justice." A moment of silence filled the chamber. Then, one by one, representatives from every species stood and placed small tokens at the base of the statue, symbols of respect from cultures across the galaxy. Later that day, a smaller meeting took place in what had once been the Supreme Councilor's private chamber. Now it served as a simple conference room. Around the table sat the leaders of the new Galactic Alliance. President Yuna represented Earth. Commander Zell spoke for the Araxians. Representatives from 12 other major species completed the circle. "The trial of former Supreme Councilor Vextara and the other Dravkar leaders has concluded," reported Zell. "They have been found guilty of crimes against numerous species, including the illegal execution of Ambassador Do-hyun." "What is their punishment?" asked Yuna. "They will live out their lives in exile on their homeworld, under supervision. The Dravkar as a species are not guilty, only their leaders who abused power." Ji-un nodded in approval. "Justice, not revenge. That's what Do-hyun would have wanted." The meeting continued, discussing the many changes implemented over the past year. Dr. Minji had led a new initiative for open technology sharing between all member species, breaking down the old hierarchical system. Dr. Ha-jun had established the first multi-species scientific academy. "There is one final item," said President Yuna. "The refugee situation. During the conflict, the humans had discovered several non-council species that had been labeled dangerous and contained by the old council. With the fall of the Dravkar leadership, these species were now free but needed help integrating into galactic society. Earth volunteers to serve as their sponsors," said Yuna. We understand what it's like to be feared for being different. The proposal was approved unanimously. As the meeting ended, Captain Ji-eun found herself alone with an elder representative of the Araxians. His name was Ziv, and he had been one of the few who had opposed Do-hyun's execution a year ago. "You have changed the galaxy in just 1 year," said Ziv, his voice like dry leaves rustling. "No species has ever had such impact in so short a time." Ji-eun looked out the viewport at the stars. "We didn't want to change things. We just wanted to join your community. And that is perhaps why you were needed," replied Ziv. "The old council feared humans because they misunderstood your nature. They saw your adaptability as a threat rather than as a gift." He gestured to the ships moving around the station. "Look how many species now work together who once barely spoke to each other. In crisis, humans became not conquerors but reformers." Ji-eun thought about this. "We came to the stars seeking friends, found enemies instead, and ended up creating a family. That's just what humans do." Ziv made a sound that Ji-eun now recognized as Araxian laughter. "Indeed. And that is why the galaxy needs you." He handed her a small device. "This contains star charts for regions the old council declared forbidden. Regions where other species might exist who were also deemed too dangerous to join Galactic society." "You want us to find them?" asked Ji-eun. "I want you to do what humans do best: adapt, connect, bring together. The old council built walls. You build bridges." That evening, a celebration took place throughout the Nexus. Species that had once been kept separate by council policy now mingled freely. Music from 100 worlds played in the common areas. Admiral Tae-wan found Captain Ji-eun standing alone, looking at Ambassador Do-hyun's statue. "He would be proud," said Tae-wan. "Of all of us." Ji-eun nodded. "He died thinking he had failed. He never knew what his death would lead to. A more united galaxy than ever existed before." "Yes." Ji-eun turned to face the Admiral. "The Araxians have given me star charts to regions beyond council space. There may be other species out there who were rejected or contained, like we almost were." Tae-wan smiled. "And you want to find them?" "Someone should. Someone who understands what it's like to be feared for being different." The Admiral looked out at the celebration, at the hundreds of different species now working together. "You know," he said, "when we launched Operation Thunderbolt, I thought we were fighting for our place in the galaxy, but we were really fighting for everyone's place." Ji-eun nodded. "Vengeance mode got activated, but vengeance wasn't what we really wanted." "No," agreed Tae-wan. "We wanted justice, and now we have the chance to extend that justice to others." As they spoke, a new ship docked at the Nexus. Its design was unlike anything seen before in council space. The registry on its hull read, "EFS Do-hyun, Earth First Contact Vessel. The future had begun."